All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. So they're either fake polls or the polls we were seeing up until now were fake polls. And that's based upon this. There's nothing going on right now that would shift the polls in that manner. Now, there's something else going on which points at deception. Now, you should understand the world I live, people are paid to put coded messages in news articles to freak me out and to say, like, nothing's real. Look here, I'm a news reporter and I work for the same criminals that everybody else works for. So these things are designed to upset people that know it's happening. Not everybody knows it's happening. Right? Part of the spycraft assassination. Essentially, the theory is 75% of they bring in 75% of the world, both political parties, some rich, some poor, some black, some white, some other people of different colors. Right. Hey, look, it's a table here. Somebody left a what is that? A routing table? Uh, kind of a generic, the task force company. So, but as they kill out, they get paid. It's again, it's similar to that lottery, but I've never been part of the lottery. I don't agree that somebody gets to be killed, and I've never agreed to that. Like you get to survive, you get money, you get a good life because you let that system exist. And in some cases, you take part in it. Again, it's a hate your neighbor technology. So they show me that the reporters are corrupt. So it's a psychological effect, like, haha, we're part of it. So the victim all of a sudden realizes that there's no truth in the world. And again, they're trying to get the victim to kill themselves or act out violently. They're not testing anyone. That's what comes up in the mind. Oh, they're just testing people. So again, most likely your billionaires were created by third party spies because they test them. Can we control this person? Will they do what we want? If we asked them to allow us to kill 10 million people, will they allow us to do that and not say anything? Again, send them a few $100 extra, or at that point, a few million extra. Now, Trump's nowhere near what they all say he is. Anyway, I suspect Vance will be president. And who's he? His clique, right? See how that worked? So I believe Trump was steered into Vance so that Vance would be president. This looks fake to be a psychological thing, but it could be Satan. It doesn't work right now. I'm not drugged. I never did commit a crime, so that doesn't matter. It's just this inference that we know you committed a crime, and if you didn't commit a crime, we own everything, so you committed a crime. Again, the key is to speaking out. If you don't speak out, then nobody looks at it. I mean, I've law enforcement officers, agents for days sending psychic blips. Look, I put together a case. They killed it. That's nothing we can do, but we know it's happening, and it has been memorialized. All it takes is a made man or made woman in the organization to target you. I mean, there's narcissists all over government. The worst place to actually have been was government. If I wasn't in government, I probably had a normal life. If I'd been one of them, I'd be a multimillionaire at a minimum. But again, I'm not going to go to hell for anyone. And again, it's more than that. I'm not going to diss God for them. Like I said, God, Satan is like, oh, God really took advantage of you, didn't you? He when you were a young child, he took advantage of you and helped you so you would like him. So, uh, because the timing, I mean, we'll see where it is when we get to the election day, but the timing of everything says that it's either fake polls or those polls were false, the previous polls. Because what was going to happen? What did I say to do? And I'm not saying that she can't win, but I'm telling you, she came up in the polls when everybody was saying, "Hey, let's nominate somebody who can win." There's nothing going on right now other than maybe a little bit of extortion and strong arming, and that could shift it, but it seems like a bit of a large shift. Now they took Adelson's money and they bribed a bunch of people. Don't know what the effect of that had. You know, labor organizations backing Trump is BS. They're not going to make it. But Trump put tariffs in there, and the prices on Amazon shot up almost right away. They started moving up, and then within 6 months, it was noticeable across the board. So, you know, if you think you're going to make another, $2 an hour under Trump, you're going to spend $3 an hour. I saw I saw portions being reduced in packages, so they made it look like prices didn't go up. Under Biden, they gave you value packages, which were larger amounts of food, but the price was better. But again, oh my God, well, this package used to be half price under Trump. Yeah, but it was like 1/10 the size. I still don't think the Biden inflation figures are correct. I don't believe they're correct. And then also the income covered most of the price increase. Yeah, actually, at this point, it covers everything, I think. So Trump's going to come in and go, "Oh, I fixed everything." Meanwhile, Biden spent 4 years fixing it. I said that 4 years ago. That was probably what was, you got to be careful of that. Because when Trump took office, we had been working on the economy for years. Now, he did some of the things I told him to do. His people, I put suggestions in, they did them. I've been saying it for years. It helped Obama, it helped him. But at a certain point, I told him those tariffs, they're just hard to overcome. You put a tariff in, it causes inflation. Well, you understand it doesn't work because not everybody receives the benefit of what the tariffs bring to the United States. So in other words, if you're working someplace where tariffs help raise the price of your goods and you make more money, everybody else is doing the same thing. So everything's going to cost more money, but not everybody gets that increased raise. Somebody working in a restaurant doesn't get the raise. That's what happened combined with COVID. Again, if COVID wasn't there, we still would have had some crazy inflation. The evidence was the year before COVID. So Trump's like a devil, and his people are like devils, so they're willing stuff. So COVID comes to set up this thing where Trump gets put out. He blames the inflation on COVID, which of course some of it was. But the reality is Trump gets in office, does those tariffs, inflation will be back, and he'll strong arm the people to say that there's no inflation. That's what happens. Spies, Russians start attacking the people that do the statistics. If they want to keep their job, if they want to get that $1 million, then they just say there's no inflation. That's how government works today. The rest is an illusion. Billionaires are organized criminals. That's who they are. That's how they got there. That's how they stay there. And the organized criminal organizations are spy organizations. So again, I don't care because what I believe happened, and I know the Democrats are dirty. The question is, would Kamala Harris have cleaned it up? Well, it's hard to win when you're dirty. Because if Kamala Harris gets in there and her people are dirty, they will be less opposed than Trump when he gets in there and his people are dirty. Which means God would put Trump in because it's going to be it take a trillion dollars to do what it would take Kamala Harris to do with maybe $100,000 as far as some of her people hiring operators to harm somebody. Well, I know Democrats see their stuff. They think they're funny. I know they're dirty. So this increase in Trump is either false polls now or were false polls all along. The timing of her rise in the polls initially, pollsters don't care. They're there to make millions of dollars for lying. If you don't pay them, then they'll just do the polling kind of whichever way they feel they want to go. If I opened a polling organization today, I could put polls out all day long, beneficial to whoever pays me. I just look on a map. I call certain zip codes. I look on a political map, and I call certain zip codes. And I just keep you look at a poll. Wouldn't you think that a poll would be like 500,000 not 500,000, let's say 5,000 people or 500 people? There would be a standard for a poll, right? You look at them like 392.5 people. Well, we only took half of what that person said because it didn't fit our narrative. So first off, you look at polls, and you can tell they're crafting it somehow because the number of participants doesn't make any sense. Now, again, I know somebody that did uh, like interviewing on the phone years ago before there was the internet, surveys, and it's difficult. So you could end up with 392.5 people. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's it. But again, there's indications that the polling up until now was corrupt, or the polling now is corrupt. There's no reason for that shift. Maybe a 1% or 2%. A lot of it went 4% to 5%. There's no reason for the shift. So they may have, when they were going to nominate somebody, they said, "Well, we'll just nominate somebody," and then of course you do polling and figure out who's going to win, and you select them. All of a sudden, Kamala Harris was the person that was going to win. That may have been an illusion, and that's a psychological warfare technique. CIA uses that. KGB uses that, or they call them now FSU, FSU or something. FSB, FSB. Right, the one it's strange. I think it's a spy disc. Like, I think Volodymyr is, I think she's trans, but she has a man's voice. So I'm not sure if it's just a gag or it's real. So, well, she's an influencer. She's just does pranky, funny stuff to try to make money. So yeah, that lady I was talking to last night about when the power would go back on. Her power didn't go off, but she's I guess a Chiefs fan. I guess she has another different flag hanging. What does that say? A football fan or something. Uh, But she was like horrified when I walked past. I'm like, "What?" So I said to her, "Oh, K-State Wildcats. That's the other flag." So I guess she's just a football fan. And her and a neighbor were gonna do a football watch or something. But last night I got to tell her what it was. But, oh, she's got those little things. That's pretty funny. So I really don't care because again, most likely it's going to be easier to turn people against Trump than it be Kamala Harris with the same type of operation, just kind of doing it the Democratic Party way. Not anybody generally anybody that gets into the political system, into politics, and I'm not saying each individual, but they're for sale. So people that are in the camp running the campaign are for sale. They'll sell out anybody if they think they can get ahead. So again, like I told you, there's people in Kamala Harris's campaign that have already sold out, and some that aren't even supposed to be there. They're actually Trump people. Could have been her pollsters. That's why I told her, make sure you know who your pollsters are. I mean, some of these people, they're making what? They're making what? Maybe 50 to 100. I guess 100,000 a year. Probably some, maybe 200, but 200 is the most. I mean, when you get up to like Holder's making money, and he's not gonna, right? He's not gonna pull punches, but the person that you have doing all the work. Right? That's why you need an investigator or somebody that knows investigations, watching the people that do the polling, and they can analyze the polling and see whether it's valid. So again, something went on there. It doesn't make any sense. So either the current polling is false, or the polling from the beginning was false, making everybody, lulling the Democrats into a false sense of security. Now, there was a different feel to the campaign early on that it could possibly change it a little bit. She needs to come out more for the people and say that she's going to crush any corruption. That's what I think it is. I think their people are being extorted. That's what part of it is. They're getting followed by the sheriff, getting followed by police cars, especially if they got a Harris Walls bumper sticker. And Trump started with his tirades of oppressing people that accused the police department to be corrupt. No, it's not going to be any different right now. Biden doesn't give a shit. So it isn't like, I mean, I think Harris would do a better job, but it's not like, right? Democrats are dirty. The Republicans are dirty. It just matters who's running the criminal enterprise. So it hasn't been a good last 4 years as far as corruption. Biden obviously was open about corruption in the Ukraine. So Kamala Harris's people would not run into, if you want to know why God would put Trump in instead of her, because I tried to figure out why Trump would. I guess Ted Cruz may have been corrupt too. Hillary Clinton may have made deals. As they say, the worst of two evils. So again, God will not bless your way. Trump has not had a blessed way. As soon as Trump turned corrupt, it got worse for him. Well, it sucks that he's not going to be prosecuted, because I think he needs to at least sit in front of a judge and learn his lesson. But again, when they break into my apartment, they break into Judge Cannon's house or whatever it is, and they take something. And then they attack her online with the same type of stuff. So again, it's mostly Russians who brought that in. It's always been a form of organized crime, and the original organized crime members were probably Russians. That wall came down, they already knew they owned part of the world. Like, Vladimir Putin didn't have anything to worry about. He knew he was going to make his money. And he essentially took over the U.S. government mostly. The scam is that you're working for CIA, and there are CIA people involved. It was actually KGB. That's who took me out. KGB, all of a sudden they have all this money. How'd they do it? Do that spycraft system. They were no longer tied to the Soviet, I guess to a certain degree, Soviet ethic, and became individual players and criminal gangs, but used that same KGB system. So again, Khrushchev's takeover is attempting to move forward. No difference to me. I had hopes that maybe Kamala Harris would tone it down and take it on. But today's no different than when Trump's going to be in there. I'll tell you that right now. Biden doesn't give a shit. He's had his life of corruption, and he's going to continue to live it out in relative comfort. Unless I guess maybe Trump might prosecute it. Who knows? But again, it's still the Russians and the enemies of the United States that back and forth within the United States allows them to rule and take power over our local, state, local governments, our federal governments. There's no real world going on. I mean, what you see is not what you get in everything. So again, if you want to know why God would put Trump in, is because Trump would be encumbered more than the Democrats. Oh, it's going to be a mess. If my life returned to normal under Trump, I would still speak out against corruption, but I probably wouldn't. Like right now, God prepares my mind, my attitude, my magical self for spiritual battle. That's fine. All that help I gave him before that he probably owes, in reality, owes me more than $100 million for. And I'm not saying he owes me $100 million, but there is a system that'll be converted into destroying whatever he does. No problem with ethic, no problems with me, no problems with God. He wants to encumber people's lives. His people want to encumber people's lives. His system want to encumber people's lives. He'll be encumbered. Biden already understood what it is to be encumbered. I guess Trump Trump's going to ascend to to his second coming, and those that are really with God will destroy that. Now, again, you're not to act out physically because that's how people are oppressed. The people that are the same type of people as the oppressive governments are getting oppressed because the other people act out physically. If they didn't act out physically, then they couldn't oppress us or do it as easy. So I really don't care what happens, but I probably will be more active metaphysically against the actual administration. I really didn't come against Biden all that much. I just warned you. Again, if you look, that's how God pretty much acts out in the Bible. Right. The key is not to act out physically. Now, granted, they're deteriorating a person's ability to not act out physically. Well, you don't come to me and say, "Well, Larry, I'm sorry, we're going to do something different now." You got to talk to God. Remember, Abraham petitioned God on behalf of these people, Sodom and Gomorrah. Moses petitioned God. Other people have petitioned God, but God makes that decision. But they weren't there when Abraham petitioned God on behalf of Sodom and Gomorrah. They weren't standing there trying to force gay sex on him or anyone else. Again, it's not about gay sex. It's about forcing people, playing God in other people's lives because they were already gay. When God already knew that Sodom and Gomorrah was gay, and Abraham pled for their behalf, God said, "Let me just find these righteous people, and that's it. It'll be over." So it wasn't really having just simply being gay. When Lot was walking around, they were gay all day. Lot was, I don't know how long, Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah for quite a long period of time. So they were already gay, and it wasn't destroyed. That lesson is shifted away from the truth of what it, just like Abraham sacrificing his children. Why is that? Why was the ram not spared? I mean, why did God do it that way? Because God is preferably the way I say God is. God is peaceful. They call it a himsa in, I guess, in India. absolute truth, absolute peace. Well, God did not force Abraham to not sacrifice the ram, but that would have been the preferable action. Now, Abraham, at a certain point, when it came to Sodom and Gomorrah, said, "Hey, let's not kill these people. Let them live." But again, you're all doing what I say you're doing. You're all actively doing it. You're all addicted to it. You're all afraid not to do it because you've been extorted into it. You're all money grubbers. If they offer you another 10,000, you take it. Most of the people that run these things could have retired 20 years ago and laughed at life for 20 years. But they can't live without killing other people, or at least trying. Am I still here being heard? Hello, hello, hello. That's been pretty successful, huh? Even though there's physical things happening, there's a demon that blinds the mind. So you can't get to the right, because this right setup just automatically happens. Again, they do it. Oh, you can't do anything right. Huh. I'd say the amount of hell the Republican Party, the whole thing for since like what 2011 or so, I would say is probably maybe 2012. I would say, oh, actually, I did help Bush too, but and I helped Obama too, right? But I would, yeah. How much does the Republican Party owe me? I can't even imagine. It's got to be $1 billion. The Democratic Party probably owes me. Yeah, it's in the millions. I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, yeah, all the homeless stuff during the downturn. Yeah, they probably owe me 100 million too. I'm a father of like what, like 90 programs. Again, I really don't care. Trump's thing is based in racism. If you're black, you vote for him, you're crazy. If you're a laborer and you vote for him, you're crazy. Well, what's happening is your minds are blinded. You're brainwashed to believe that he's actually going to help you and has actually helped you. I believe in capitalism, but Trump doesn't. Trump believes in cronyism. There's a difference. I believe in free enterprise and capitalism. But again, when that doesn't work, we have enough money to take care of people, and we should, because there's cronyism. That's why it doesn't work. Well, if Trump over deports, we're just going to be right back to inflation. You're making more money, but it costs you for everything. The tariffs, and if he over deports, it's going to cause that inflation again. Now, Trump has got people that make people afraid to say the truth, and that's true about the people that talk about inflation. That's why I told you that most likely inflation is being put on who they want it to be put on. In other words, they lowball. How you doing? They lowball inflation when their favorite person's in there, or the person they're afraid of, or the person that's paying them, or all the above. Then when the next person get in it, they put it on that person. But that's God's gripe. Look, I sent my man. First off, he wasn't supposed to be in a body. Now he's in a body. He's living body life. Now, God doesn't expect much from the planets. He goes, well, you could at least give him a poor man's life. Again, I don't even have a poor man's life because they isolated me. I'm not dangerous. They're dangerous. They're trying to push reaction through me, but it's them. I oracle them sometimes, and I get their reaction to what I'm saying, or what they're, because it can project. People have projection that others can receive, so there's a connection. and they can receive that. And they have internal expression. I hate that guy. And yeah, you see it you'll see some of the inside stuff in entertainment. That's why people think it's so funny. You look at like if you're not inside, you're like, oh yeah, okay. But if you're inside, you're like, oh, that's that thing I heard. Well, I wasn't planning to walk this way. There's too many hills. Too many hills. The one way's flat, relatively flat. The other way's all hills. Let me walk back. I'll get my hill legs back on, but and my cardio and my endurance, but I do it slowly. That's how I do it. All the leaves are falling. I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, it's fall. Yeah, this morning I said, okay, I'm not going to clean the leaves because it's colder and they're going to start falling. Tomorrow's going to be even colder. There's a little wind today. Might be a wind tomorrow. In 2 days, I'll clean up all the leaves. Otherwise, I'll be out there every day. I don't have to do that, obviously. I'm a nice neighbor, and then I'll wash the sidewalk. At a certain point, I won't be able to wash the sidewalk anymore. But it's not that bad right now. The acorns are pretty much done with. Oh, Trump's with Satan. That's all. So we are actually in that moment of the beast. No, Trump will hit way more opposition than Kamala Harris would. So if Kamala Harris people were secretly corrupt, which she may not be able to affect because presidents are insulated, they would be much more successful than Trump's people will be. I mean, Trump will try harder and be part of it, but he's going to get a lot of pushback. And then again, I don't know what's going to happen at FBI. It's hard to again. The attorney general probably won't do anything. He'll probably be well. The independent counsel will still exist when he's elected. Now, as far as him not having a basis for existing, I think that's false. Trump appointed all those Supreme Court justices. Obviously, it's corruption for them to sit on his cases. But again, Biden's not doing anything about it. But again, Biden's a trickster. And I think people are getting wise to some of that also. Well, he's not sending money, but now he's sending weapons. Weapons are money. If you look how the news releases, well, I told you just to get those things over with. I'm telling you right now, you're not strong enough to say that we're going to end it. We're going to end it fairly. We're not going to give in to Russia, but we all need to come together and meet. If you don't meet, then you don't get the credit for meeting. Remember, blessed are the peacemakers. Now, Kamala Harris did say she was going to. She says we won't meet without the Ukraine. She has to go stronger and say, look, I realize we need to end this thing. It's a sin to spend that much money on war. It just really is, considering what kind of lives those people could live and what kind of lives we could live without that. Well, the real opportunity was during the Obama administration. If you botch that, that's it. War doesn't work the way you all foresee. Because you know what? You've never really had to fight in your life. Y'all propped up spoon-fed people. War doesn't work the way you all think. Because you all just use organized crime muscle. See, if you're like, we use organized crime muscle. We'll win. Right. I told you what to do back then. You didn't do it. And then you look at me when it's like 2023 if you killed me 10 years. Or 2022, I guess. Whenever that's sorry. I told you what to do in like 2013. If I could find it on Facebook, they kill my Facebook if it has anything that backs up what I say. Although not all of it, but a lot of it. Right. Like you try to search it, you can't find it. Well, there's battles not better not fought, especially if you sit on your ass for 10 years. Again, you always try to point at me when you don't do my stuff when and how I tell you to do it. Well, the Democrats there'll be some unrest if Trump wins, but I don't perceive it being some organized military type effort. Yeah, and police should be able to handle that. But I would bring helicopters in, just have them ready. Because flash bombs tend to be the biggest disruption. Well, what's going to happen is the Russians will also actively manipulate the Democrats because Trump. That's how Trump's going to, how he's going to get power. Somebody's going to riot. Somebody's going to shoot somebody. Somebody's going to plant a bomb or whatever it is, and then Trump will say, "I'm going to enact this executive order." These people will be sent to camps, and we will educate them in the camps. This the day starts out, you know, Trump, a big screen, and Trump's on the big screen. Nope. Like I said, God's killing the planet at this point. So again, taking out, activity that Trump's engaged in, as far as using magic against it. I mean, it's fair game at this point. And I'm over 60 years old. You all wasted my life. This does matter to God. I just explained it to you. You have a system here on the planet that you represent, all of you. So what happens is over the years, I'm checking all the right boxes, and you're all killing me further, further psychologically, physically, and metaphysically. And this is even before I was in the Marshal Service, even before I was in Justice Department at all. For the Russians, I'm sure you did it for the Russians. You got rid of Bob for the Russians. You killed Bruce Schultz for the Russians. No matter what your little pea brain was told that you were doing. So again, you have to understand, God is not mocked. Trump will do famously. Well, we'll see. Of course, all the billionaires are going to start like propping him up with their money. There's no doubt, and then he's going to take the national treasury money and send it to them. There's no doubt. There's no doubt they did that in Argentina, but they still haven't been able to pull it off. They destroyed Argentina. And again, some of it was psychological operation of the liberal government so that we go over the line. See, all the Democrats, they're like laughing when Kamala Harris was ahead. But now, because you continued on in all of that spycraft and that witchcraft and taking people's individual lives down and laughing about it, now you might actually have Trump oppressing you instead of you oppressing those people. So again, I'm not Democrat or Republican when it comes to that argument. I'm just simply explaining the metaphysics. No, there's 25% of the population they will always kill. And they'll go, well, yeah, it's the sex offenders. No, the sex offenders are doing great in this country. A ton of them are millionaires and billionaires. The real ones, not the ones they try to, tell you are, and then develop a false world around them. Again, they're spending large amounts of money for false statements. One of the biggest ways to make money in this world is bearing false witness and hating on your neighbor. You understand how this is working? The Republicans run a program that instructs people to hate on certain neighbors, and they run a program to bear false witness. And they're talking about the second coming of Trump. So we all realize what that is. No, what's going to happen is if Trump actually pulls in the lead, people that were going to split their vote and put a Republican underperson in are no longer going to do that because they're going to limit Trump. So they're going to put in, how you doing? They're going to put in, straight Democratic Party tickets. So it's gonna backfire a little bit, but it's setting up for what I think God is going to do. Trump's going to be in there. People are going to vote heavy Democrat to keep Trump limited. So, like right now, that guy, what's that guy's name in Texas against Cruz? If Trump pulls in the lead, he has a greater chance of winning than he did before. Trump loyalists will receive a lot more pushback than they would have. Again, we have a guy here that's a good. Here's an example: the Kansas House guy. He's a good Republican. He's trying to do middle of the road stuff, which is good stuff because that's the only way government works smoothly. Anybody that's been in government knows how it works and knows how it works smoothly. Again, Trump works off of Russian theory: screw everything up and blame it on everyone else. While running an organized crime operations and spycraft operations. So again, what's most likely going to happen is if Trump takes the lead, they're going to vote straight Democratic Party tickets, and then that's going to limit what he can do. Again, might get him impeached, but then you look at Advance, and I think that's the real goal of the millionaires and billionaires. He's kind of like their baby. Trump's just a pain in the derriere to everyone, but he's a ways to an end. No, I definitely helped pull the nation out of that downturn. And I definitely helped move the peace process forward in Israel. Those were efforts helping the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, I guess. And then when Trump got in there, they did everything I said, and everything worked. And then you also saw my movements: ominous, bominous, moominous, moominous, and then everything would change. The key is not to let them kill me. That's really what you're supposed to do. But again, you've all shown yourselves as just these drones for the evil system. So I guess God kind of dispelled their well, he's just doing this because we're doing it to him. The only reason he's helping us is because we do this to him. Give us more money, and we'll make sure he keeps helping. Instead of just letting me live. So again, you see what the evil they are. But God kind of dispelled that because I said, "See you, Biden." No, there's chances that Kamala Harris was never going to win. Again, people are racist. People hate women in power. Right. They're focusing on me. That's why their stuff's coming through. Oh, that stuff's coming through. I get rid of it in a second. Watch. Whoa! Now they're cursed. Watch it go away. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. Now, if she pulls up, some of the Republicans couldn't make it. Some of the lower Republicans, but if Trump goes to the presidency, it looks like he's going to win. People are going to vote straight Democrat, even Republicans, just to limit what power he has. I have to heal these people. Now they're focusing on me, Hunter. Boy, it's a beautiful day. No, it's an illusion that it's going to get any worse for the people they're killing with the spycraft operations, because it's not. But Biden is that person. Biden has already admitted to being one of those people. So, the news articles that are saying that Biden is scumbagging the Harris campaign is probably a cover story to blame it on Biden. Something happened in those polls that is unnatural. So again, when you see that, you're like, "Oh, Wall Street Journal." Well, They're a bunch of rich people. They, cater to rich people, no matter what they appear to be the last year or so. They've cheated on their taxes. And they want their buddy Chumpin who cheats on his taxes. Oh no, but we're the best of the world because we're not violent. Those people are violent. The people that we psychologically operate all day. So yeah, bearing false witness, lying, false statements is one of the biggest money makers in the United States. So again, why would God be angry, right? You see what's happening in Florida. See what's happening in Georgia. And of course, Marge is like, well, it's because the space lasers. Now, I agree that there's probably some sort of space laser that could do something, but it's not. I agree that they can manipulate weather, but it's not. Well, if anybody has space lasers, it would be Israel. I mean, it makes sense, right? Some of it, but Marge takes it to the next level. See what time it is. I'm getting kind of hand gestures from people. Really, they're kind of neutral. I can't read them, whether they're trying to threaten me or not. There could have been a couple people on that trail that tried to threaten me. Could have been a couple people on that trail that said, hey, buddy, yeah, you're right, keep going. Now, it's easy to clean this thing up. They just don't want to do it. They're greedy. So what they're doing is they're changing my feed to like young women, good-looking young women, and willing it up. "Ooh, don't you want a good-looking young woman? Oh, there he's at it again. What? Well, she has 2 kids, but he's looking at her and talking. That's the way he does it. He does what? He's never been with anybody. He's never had sex with children. He's never tried to have sex with children. The people that are touching children are your police officers and your church people. I've told you that for years, and if you would have fixed it, it wouldn't be in the news at all. Instead of trying to cover it up by pointing the finger at everyone else. Got a bunch of lesbians hanging around, lesbian police officers hanging around with bait girls, trying to say I'm hanging out with girls and touching them as they try to force them into my life. Bunch of weirdos. How you doing? Well, that's a scam. It's projection. Projection is big today. Corrupt people will project. Is the thing working right nowadays? I'm online, so don't say anything that you don't want to be heard. I'm broadcasting, just letting you know. I mean, most people don't, but I just, I don't like doing people. Hey, what you say goes, and you don't know what's up there. But it's working pretty good now. That's cool. That was a little scary, huh? Yeah, oh, it's nothing. Just got to get the exact part right. All right, take care. Oh, you know what was funny? I'm gonna tell you what happened. So the day before they did the inspection in my apartment, I went and I asked one of the workers, when do you think you're gonna be there? So I'm home. I want to be home when you do it. He said, well, first thing in the morning. I think we're gonna do it first thing in the morning. So it gets about 9 o'clock, and I'm psychic. A vision of you. I see you in my head, and they go, we're not gonna get there till after lunch. And then you didn't get there till after lunch. Well, it doesn't matter, but it's funny because it psychically it worked. Right. So he doesn't know. He may not know about that. He may not know that he projects. He's a help. Somebody like that. We have people like that all over the world, man. They're supposed to be like presidents and stuff. But he's in maintenance here. Because he'd be up there as president going, okay, everybody calm down. We'll take care of it. All right, get down to your congressman's office. Instead of like, send the boys, send the girls, can't take them out. Right. That's government nowadays. So, that's the point. It's projection is big, and that's why you can read some of what's going on because all these ne'er-do-wells are into projection. So you got these women that are hanging out with young girls, and from what I understand, they touch on them. And the women are sexually attracted to women. Yet they're taking them, and somebody just trying to live their life neutrally is being stalked by these people in government and outside of government, trying to force little girls into their life while they block every adult interaction or relationship that person could have. Now, when they do it over an extended period of time like that, it becomes obvious that they've succeeded. They're not going to do it if they didn't succeed by depleting somebody for 30 years and then have them commit a sex crime when they're like half senile. But you see, you know what I'm doing? Making sure it'll never happen. Because I keep saying this. I am programming myself for their stuff never to work in my life. In fact, I work all day trying to make it backfire just to show you what pieces of shit they are because it doesn't help them. Not at all. But maybe it does. They stay out of prison, right? The cop that was touching on the young girls, she's now a captain or a chief. So she's going to worship that program. No, cops are like me. I mean, I don't touch kids. I haven't touched kids probably my whole life, except maybe when I was a kid. I really didn't touch them that much then. In any way, I'm going to say touching anyway. And cops are like me, that you don't touch on somebody else's kid. You don't go to church and get touchy feely with people. Like the hug set. Give me a big hug. Well, you just hugged 5 teenage girls, officer, and you look a little close there. You make Biden look like a nun with him and them little girls. Getting a clue and a cue of what's going on? Mm-mm. It's not one political party or another. It's awful. So the officers project. I'm psychic, and I was in law enforcement, so I can receive a little bit from them. I'm awake now. And they project that there's tons of. When I say about the officers, I said the officers are projecting that all these people have to be investigated for something because they're getting paid probably on the side from somebody for it. But what the other officers noticed when I said, "Hey, look, they're the ones touching the kids," and they said, "Yep, I noticed that. I didn't say anything. I don't want to get fired." That I don't touch people's kids, but they're touching people's kids and telling me that you and other people are touching people's kids, and I don't see you touching any kids. They killed it. They killed it for a second there. The spell picked up. They're spelling me for saying that. That means they did it. They're spelling me for saying that they're projecting sexual crime on other people instead of, they're the ones. The psychological projection, metaphysical projection. What time is it? Trying to get my walk on for an hour. So you see, that's how it works. Investigatively. And again, sometimes you can't do anything. I've already said that. I've said even about Trump. I said, you were at the point where you couldn't do anything. You walk away from the case. If he is dirty, it'll come up again. But 20 years from now, don't be like when they won't let anybody, like CIA sitting there. Only Russians can stay at Trump hotels. Nobody else. Next thing you know, Trump's surrounded by Russians. That's what they do to me. That kind of shit. I was told that they actually have in the past places I was staying. No, they didn't make sure the kids weren't there. That's bullshit if they tell you that. They made sure women that would be compatible to me and would probably, women have a bad streak in life. They end up in a hotel. This is how it should have happened, I mean, God would have made it happen if God could do it on this evil planet. A woman's, a little down on luck. I'm a little down on my luck. I don't have anybody. She doesn't have anybody. I stay at a hotel. She stays at a hotel. We miraculously have a room next to each other, and we get married. It's that easy when God's allowed to be God. Notice planet it's obvious that God does not act on a planet that is not compliant and does not really they don't love God. Who do they love? Who do they really love? And they call Satan. They love Satan so much that they call Satan Jesus and God. That's how much they love Satan. They give Satan the honor in your mind to Satan. Read the scriptures. What they want you to believe is the victims of the shepherds of Israel, which are any religious entity or any government entity. That would be just a kind of example, are actually the porn stars. But yet, they say that, but if you look, porn stars in Naples, Florida have $1 million homes and nobody bothers them. But then when they run for office, national office, who are the Naples people? The church people. There's a church over there. Those are our people. they, Naples is notorious for porn stars and porn directors having big homes. And one sheriff, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Which one do you want? Thank you, sir. We appreciate the donation. You think it's bad going to San Francisco? Go to Naples. They want you gay. You got to fight them. And I did. 100%. I got to heal these people. 100% is the cue. If you're 100%, heal whoever you're looking at. So again, this is the problem. Somehow they put psychological projection into the United States. It's not naturally here, and that's what they're all doing. So you ruin somebody based upon what you're actually doing by saying they're doing it. And when they come in, they speak to all these people, trying to keep the children safe, keep the women safe, keep the boys safe, whatever it is. They're trying to keep their boys safe. That's what. You get locked up for what your boys did. But what they're doing is they're developing a witches coven to project this. So they give out some money. Oh, this is informant money. It's very important. That guy over there, that guy's a rapist. That guy over there is a drug dealer. We expect to arrest him within the year. Here's some money. But I know where a rapist lives. This guy, he hangs out with little kids, and they get drunk, and the the the, the pervert's over there. Here's some more money. Now they have to get arrested, or they might not use you anymore, and you won't get any money. That's how they do it. That's pretty cool. Somebody decorated real nice. I mean, if I was one of those people that were in the decoration contest, and I saw that person's decoration, I don't think I'd decorate. I say, forget it. I'm not judging myself that high. That looks pretty good. I wonder what it looks like at night. Got a bunch of lights up there. I got to go here at night and look at it. Yeah, Satan. They worship Satan. You can at least say, "Oh, yeah, it's a nice satanic altar you built up there." Yeah, you'll win something, I guess. I studied it all. I studied every religion to include death metal. It's like a religion. But you know what? You would think that if you go into death metal, that you find the Satanists, right? And they may claim to be Satanists. When you go into death metal and you can see what you find is possessed people, and their songs actually tell you what it's like to be possessed, and what it is to fight Satan as a victim of Satan. That's actually what that extreme heavy metal says, most of it. I gotta heal something around here. Oh, it's an elementary school sign. It's not an elementary school, it's a sign. Uh, Welcome to our nest. Okay, we gotta heal, Bentwood Elementary, and it's a sign from the PTA. Unblind their minds so they can see. That's the biggest trouble with children, their minds are blind. And we have people who have a lot of money and a lot of projection, and they're, evil in some way, shape, or form. And they are, shutting down the mind of the children. Now, if a child or a person, again, it's not natural to be asleep, so they're not really awakening people. They're putting them to sleep, and then they awaken the children when they show promise of being an evil person. And evil doesn't mean that you're sinning, even though sin is considered evil. So again, Jesus gave forgiveness. That's just one of the religions, but I'll explain that how that works. He gave forgiveness, but said that one jot and tittle of the law will depart until the coming of Son of Man, because somebody has to pay for another person falling. Again, he explained that too. Don't cause that other person, don't spell that person, don't block their life of goodness so that they will fall, and then you can point a finger at them. I wish I was a woman. I wonder if she's a bait woman or is she normal. You normal woman, you bait woman. I guess if you're a normal one, you'd be bait woman tomorrow if I talk to you. They pull out that bank account, that Overland County Joco bank account. This is for informants. Here's $100. Hate that guy. We'll give you another 100 tomorrow if you hate him right. We got over here. That's nice. Well, it's nice, but it's not as good as the other one. There's a witch. Are you a witch? People are actually witches and they're into the witch thing. Most witches aren't witches, really. They just, healers. There's a lot of people call themselves witches and they're healers. So again, you have to know how to read what's actually going on. You can only do that with God. Let me heal that woman. She wouldn't have been before me, probably. I was supposed to heal her. That's what I do for my wife. I couldn't do that for my wife because I was asleep. Nah, I was. People were blessed by my presence, but when they took my intrinsic self down, that didn't work anymore. I had to learn how to heal things and heal myself. Something with that woman. I don't know what's going on. LRE. Does that mean anything? Oh, Larry. Oh, it's my woman. In a better life, I imagine she would be. She doesn't have a man. I don't break up marriages. I know it's not exact. Here's LLA. LLA. 516. Victory. That says Kamala Harris is going to win, but we'll see. Well, the problem is she needs to be ahead because they're going to press the Democratic Party vote, and there's nothing you can do that day. And it's probably nothing you're going to do in any reasonable amount of time to work that out. Nah, something's weird. Either the polls are lying now or they lied before. There's no reason for that shift. And they're actually, if you look, like, well, it's Biden's fault. Like, yeah, right. I'm hoping the polls weren't lies before because she may never have been in the lead. They just didn't want to have enough time to put a real candidate in there that would win. But she could win. It could have been real. We'll see. But I'm energized. I'm ready to go. Yeah, put Putin's wacky in. Go ahead. Heal that Buddha there. Oh, this guy's got a Buddha. No, he's got the apartment that I wish I lived in. That really nice, quiet 2 bedroom. Not too many 2 bedrooms here. Well, why am I out walking? See if they break in. I want to know so I can report it to God. Maybe we'll have a couple more hurricanes, maybe a few more tornadoes. Yeah, I received from the officers. And in church, of course, you see them like, "Why are you like that? You just hugged everybody." And you don't say nothing, right? You don't be rude, right? I mean, you pressing up against people. You're in church and you're pressing up against people. That's somebody else's wife. That's somebody else's kid. They don't take those people out like they say they do. They just try to put that on someone else. Wait, this one empty? Or is the government own it? The government's got like 5 apartments in here. I don't know. If that was empty, I'd like to it. But it looks like it's just kinda it's like nothing there. It's like nobody lives there. But it looks like somebody lives there. I'm gonna look, see if it's available. I'd pay the extra money. It'd put me in debt, but I'd have more space. I'd get away from the morons. I had to stop talking earlier. My neighbor walked out to take out the trash. That was yesterday, I think. I like, don't think I'm talking about her. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Oh, it wanted to show me what number apartment that was. And that may be one of the things they're trying to do. Get me to move in an apartment. It's got cameras everywhere. You go in there. All the people that are trying to stop the perverts are watching you get naked on camera. I say it's just for business. It's just for business. They're like Hadrian, the Roman emperor, forcing people into nakedness and trying to kill them. They call it spycraft and law and cutting edge law enforcement. No, Trump's evil, man. And the people that putting him in are evil. They've at least committed the majority of the people that are putting Trump in have at least committed the crime of tax tax some sort of tax fraud. Well, they're paranoid if they, that they might get caught. So they put Trump in, and they feel good because he doesn't prosecute. He'll try to stop. He'll get. Oh, they're going to abolish the IRS, isn't they? Nah, Trump's not like that. He only does it for cronies. Who voted for me? Who who? See, that information might backfire too. But see, I guess the Supreme Court says that's legal. I guess that Trump doesn't have to send aid to districts. So yeah, that's an incorrect ruling. Like if Trump part of Trump's presidency is to dole out aid, and he says we only send aid to people that voted for me. That's illegal. But the Supreme Court would say that's not prosecutable. Right. Because it's part of his presidential duties. But it's impeachable though. I don't know if he can impeach. Can he be impeached for what he did as a president previously? I don't know if he could because he was reelected. I mean, you could actually. Impeachment is for anything. If if they could get enough people to vote, they can impeach Trump for simply chewing bubble gum and walking at the same time. No, I don't hit on women. Women have. I don't know if they've hit on me, but they want me to talk to them over the years. I befriend people if it's possible. I mean, if it's going in that direction. But they've blocked women that have, pulled me into their lives. Some were bait, some became bait. And they go, "Well, they had kids." I'm like, "Okay, I've never had sex with kids. I've helped you by submitting evidence about crimes against children. And obviously I wasn't interested in their kids. It's some fable you all came up with and tried to force in my life. That's the other point. I don't have sex with kids. You want me to have sex with kids. There's a big difference, but because you're in power, what you want goes, right? Like I said, you're the people that did it, and it's obvious. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God and all.